to the Casual Wrestling Show, the number one wrestling show meant specifically for casual wrestling fans each and every week. I, the Notorious Nerdy D, topple the biggest questions in pro wrestling. You can find the show every Wednesday on YouTube and on your favorite podcast networks. If you enjoy the content, make sure to join the Casual Community Discord group. The link is in the description of this video and of this podcast. And you can ask anyone in the comments. It's a chill place to hang out, talk about wrestling, and talk about a bunch of other stuff and fun topics and sports and whatever it is you're into. There's probably somebody in there who's willing to talk to you about it. And it's got kind of a nice chill community feel. So make sure if you're listening to the show, jump into the Discord and see what it's all about. Let's get right into it this week with the first kind of trending topic of the week, and that is a question that kind of got brought up to me, and it kind of got tossed around in the Discord. Is WWE going to actually announce who is wrestling on what night for WrestleMania 39, or are the potential ticket buyers just supposed to guess when their favorite wrestler is going to perform in Los Angeles? This is a nightmare. This is a problem. And I feel sorry for anybody who is attending WrestleMania 39. At this point, to me, as far as I'm concerned, WrestleMania 39, they've punted. They've punted on this event. If you believe that WrestleMania 39 is being put on as a well-organized, well-thought-out, long-term planned-out event, you're fucking crazy. That's not what's happening here, guys. What's happening here is they've punted on this event. We are 1.5 weeks out from WrestleMania 39. And they're not telling us what night, what matches, and who is main eventing what night. We know nothing. We know absolutely nothing other than we assume that Roman Reigns and Cody Rhodes are going on last. And I think that's a safe assessment. But at this point, who knows, right? At this point, who really knows what the plan is? And this is a nightmare for so many reasons. Look, going into WrestleMania last year, I didn't buy tickets. I went to Dallas with the intention that I was going to go do all the fanfare. I was going to take the family. We were going to go to fan access and do all the fun stuff. And we weren't going to go to an actual WrestleMania wrestling event, like the actual wrestling night 1 or night 2. But going into that, we knew exactly what matches were what night. We knew who was main eventing night 1 and night 2. I believe we knew. We at least knew most. We knew, I'd say, 90% of the matches that were happening and to what order they were. We knew the big ones. And here we are, a week and a half out. And anybody who has a ticket has no idea what they've paid to see. So if you've paid $1,000, if you paid $500, if you paid $50, you have no clue what you're walking into when you get to WrestleMania Hollywood. And so let me put it into some different terms here. If you're a parent, you understand this, right? If you're a parent and you buy a $200 to $300 ticket for your kid to go to WrestleMania, it is more than likely that they have one particular wrestler that they are hoping to see. And you have no clue what you take. You have no clue if you are setting yourself up to disappoint your child when you get to WrestleMania. And this is just a pure fact. If you bought a ticket when tickets first went on sale, let's say you don't even have kids. Let's just say you're an adult and you have a favorite wrestler. You have no clue who you're walking in to see. And if you're trying to tell me that this is by design, somebody tell me, what is the benefit of this? Where is there any benefit to 1.5 weeks out from the event not knowing who is actually going to perform Saturday and Sunday night? Someone tell me the benefit of that. Tell me you would buy a ticket to a concert not knowing who is going to perform that night, or a festival, right? Because most of the time people buy a ticket for a particular band. Now you show up and you watch other bands and you're happy, but you buy your ticket with the hopes that one particular band is going to perform and that's who you're going to see. It is the same with professional wrestling. This is a problem that's happening in the NBA as well, where guys or people are buying tickets, they're showing up, and people are not playing. And that is a problem that the NBA is looking to address. But you're trying to tell me WWE, an entertainment company, that 6 months out, they've had this all planned. They know exactly the course that they're headed on. And we are a week and a half away from WrestleMania. And they don't want to tell you who's wrestling where. You want to know why they're doing this? They don't know. They don't know who's wrestling where. They have a list right now of 13 potential matchups, and they can't figure out how to make 2 coherent nights that people are going to want to watch. And they've already committed to 2 nights, so you can't walk that back at this point. But the problem is, I've been saying this for the last couple weeks, they have a good enough card right now to put on 1 solid night of WrestleMania, and then they have a bunch of complimentary matches that they could put on the second night. Now, here's the dilemma for WWE. Do you take that 1 night of full grade A matches, and do you take that night and do you split it up and you water it down and you put half on Saturday and you put half on Sunday? Or do you completely punt and just try to make Sunday meaningful and throw whatever else you got on Saturday and completely screw anybody who bought tickets to Saturday night? But this is the conversations that are going on in the back rooms of WWE right now. They don't know who's main eventing night 1. They don't know who's main eventing. Well, they know who's main eventing night 2, but they don't know what else they're putting on that card. They don't know where Finn Balor and Edge should be. They don't know where Rhea and Charlotte should be. They're looking at this and they don't understand what to do because they've backed themselves into this corner. They thought, look, here's what they thought. There's no doubt in my mind. This is more apparent now than it's ever been. They thought for night 2 of WrestleMania, they had The Rock versus Roman Reigns, which meant no matter what else you put on Sunday night, people were going to leave that night happy. That's what they thought. So then they figured, hey, we could put some solid matches, probably put Cody Rhodes, probably put Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn and all those guys. We put them on Saturday night, and then the Saturday night people will leave happy. And the Sunday night people will leave happy because they got to see The Rock. But that's not what's happening. There's panic going on in the back rooms of WWE right now. If you don't believe me, just look at what's happening. Look at the promos that are being cut. Look at, you're trying to tell me that 6 months ago, WWE had the plan to put Cody Rhodes in the ring with Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn to try to keep that main event interesting. And in a minute, I'm going to go into my excitement levels on every match, but let's be realistic. That's not what's happening. Or that is what's happening, and it wasn't planned for 6 months. There's panic going on surrounding WrestleMania 39, and the fallout is that fans are having to look around and wonder, what am I buying a ticket to? Like, honestly, I see someone posted in the Discord that some of the upper level tickets have dropped down to $47. That's because nobody wants to pull the trigger unless you're specifically going to WrestleMania to see Cody Rhodes versus Roman Reigns. You don't know what you're going to see. We can make assumptions. We can all jump onto the internet and go to our favorite wrestling website and look up the rumors, but we don't have for certain 100% who is going to perform on what night. And that's fucking asinine. It's insane. It's insane at 1.5 weeks out. We don't know. So that leads me into what I want to talk about, the bulk of what I want to talk about today. And that is, the last couple weeks, I've shared different kind of feelings on the different matches, but we're 1.5 weeks out. And I wanted to kind of go over and discuss and do a little kind of a game, but I want to talk about my excitement level and my expectation level for all of the confirmed matches for WrestleMania 39. Because Look, here's the reality. We are 1 Monday Night Raw and 2 Friday Night SmackDowns away from what is supposed to be the biggest wrestling event of the year. Look, cancel out the Friday before WrestleMania. That is a throwaway SmackDown. That is meant for the Hall of Fame, and that is meant to just appease and kick off the beginning of the weekend. Nothing's getting set up for WrestleMania. So you want to be realistic? What we have left is 1 SmackDown this week and 1 Monday Night Raw, and that's it. The stories that we have are the stories that we have, and we have to roll with those. So let's go match by match. Let's talk about my excitement level versus my expectation level for each one of these matches. And I'll start off with Asuka versus Bianca Belair. Asuka and Bianca Belair, someone said in the Discord, and I don't remember who it was, but someone said in the Discord that they hate when WWE forces 2 opponents to tag up together right before a big premium live event. And I agree. Especially if you're not doing it with any intention to build story. If it's just how do we waste another week of TV so that we can just coast into WrestleMania? Oh, let's just put Bianca and Asuka in the ring together. Let them tag team against a random tag team. It makes no sense. You have 2 weeks at that point to build a compelling story. What is the story between Bianca Belair and Asuka? Like, someone explain to me, what is the backstory to this match? It's Asuka left for a little bit. Asuka and Bianca were tag team partners 6-7 months ago. Asuka disappears for a little bit, comes back a slightly darker and more mysterious character, and now all of a sudden she's kind of fucking with Bianca Belair, and Bianca Belair, her patience. Like, what is the story? What is the story you're trying to tell? There's no backstory there. And so what we have is we have to lean into, this is what WWE does to us, guys. We have to lean into, we have to make up our own story. We have to make up our own reason to watch. And so the reason that we go with is, well, it's just, Asuka's a cool new character and Bianca's been the champion a long time. So let's get behind this. I wish, to me, that there was a bigger difference in the Asuka character from the pre-change to the post-change of like the disappearance. I wish Asuka was a much darker character. Right now, she's teetering on like this kind of Joker maniacal character, but she's not tipping over the edge. She's not, I haven't seen anything extremely like heelish from Asuka. We've seen almost kind of a little level of like almost respectful, but like I would have liked to have seen her just completely turn on Bianca in that match and absolutely not care about what was going on. That would have made more sense. But there's not a lot of story to this. This is being set up. If I'm just predicting here, this is being set up for Bianca to be the longest running Raw Women's Champion of all time. And I don't love that as the premise for a story. That doesn't make for a good story. So my excitement level for this match is a C. It's a solid C. It's completely average. It's right in the middle. My expectation is that this match maybe overperforms because Asuka is a high-level performer and Bianca Belair is capable of putting on a high-level match. So excitement level, I'll say C, and I'm prepared to have my expectations raised for that match to a B. So let's move on. Let's talk about Austin Theory and John Cena. Austin Theory has done what I would call an adequate job over the last 3 or 4 weeks of piquing interest in a match with John Cena. He has not done a great job. He did not do what Kevin Owens did last year with Stone Cold Steve Austin and make me excited for a match. I'm excited because, hey, we get John Cena back again. That's always a positive. But Theory hasn't really sold me on this idea that this is a big deal. WWE definitely hasn't sold me on the idea that this is a big deal. So here we go, week and a half out. John Cena showed up one time to build this match. Cena showed up one time to build this match. And we're going into WrestleMania 39 Hollywood, supposed to be a big one. And this is what we got. Excitement level, a B. Expectation level, an A. I expect that John Cena comes out and puts on a show. I don't expect it to be a real long match. I expect it to be a little bit of a passing of the torch, but I think John Cena knows how to tell that kind of story, and John Cena can, at the end of the day, at least make the match fun, make it exciting to watch, and he will do the best that he can to pass the torch over to Theory, who, once again, I still believe is a character that has devolved. Dude, I mean, I know everybody was so excited when Theory put the phone down, but he's just devolved. He's devolved because he really hasn't changed his personality that much. Yeah, he likes to get on TV and yell a little bit. He likes to look right into the camera and yell a little bit. But like his character still kind of has the same arrogant personality. And now he doesn't have the phone to make me laugh when he was taking selfies of people he beat. So I think I'd say Siri devolved. Excitement level B. Expectation level is John Cena performs, and it's an A. Let's talk about Charlotte and Rhea Ripley here, okay? Charlotte and Rhea Ripley. So this past Monday night, Rhea Ripley got to take on Bayley. What was that? That's a test. That was a WWE test. Sometimes, you guys, we don't catch it, but I could smell it. I could smell it from a distance. That was a test. They're testing Rhea Ripley to see what kind of reaction Rhea Ripley can get as a babyface. Because right now, I don't think that you can call the Judgment Day necessarily babyface or heel. I think they're walking in that gray area where they could easily slide into either position. Like Dominic Mysterio is hated, but it's kind of the hate that we love, right? We love to hate a character like Dominic Mysterio because he's not taking himself seriously and it's fun. I think most people are undecided on Damian Priest. I think most people want to like Finn Balor. And I think for the most part, people want to like Rhea Ripley. So putting her in the ring against Bayley was a test to see, can Rhea Ripley be a babyface? So already going into this match, I kind of see, I think, what's going to happen, and we're going to get a double flip, right? We're going to get, Charlotte is going to do something heelish, turn herself back to a natural heel because that's where Charlotte performs best. And this will put Rhea Ripley into a babyface position where by the end of that match at WrestleMania, the crowd will be cheering for Rhea Ripley. WWE knows this. They're prepared for it. And this is the right move. The aggression in this last promo on Friday Night SmackDown between Rhea Ripley and Charlotte, I think it saved it a little bit for me. I was starting to lose a little interest, but I think they built up enough foundation with that kind of, the spite that the two have for each other that my excitement peaked back up to a B. I have a B level excitement for this match. Expectation level is a C. And this is because I've been tempered by people who tell me, go back and watch their previous match. Because for a while I was saying Rhea Ripley and Charlotte can't fail. This is, put this in the books. This is a done deal. And then a few people approached me and go, hey, did you watch the original? Honestly, I didn't. That was in one of the lapses of me watching wrestling. I didn't watch it. And I went back and watched it, and I see what they're talking about. It's not a guaranteed home run when you put Rhea Ripley and Charlotte in the ring. So expectation is a C. My excitement is a B, and my hope is that it's an A. Like, my hope for all of these is that we get A matches. I guess I hope that nothing's worse than a B. I know everything can't be A+, but I hope that every match is at least a B, but I have to be realistic with my excitement and my expectation. So let's talk about the sleeper match of the night at WrestleMania. Sheamus, Gunther, and Drew McIntyre. This has all of the makings of being the match that steals the card. This has all of the makings of the match that WWE places oddly in the middle of night one, and it's the only thing people are talking about going into night two. Like, it has all of that ability. This is the type of match you could start WrestleMania off with, and it would suck all of the energy out of the building because it would be so good and it would just feel like a decline from there. So they've got to be very careful where they put Sheamus, Gunther, and Drew McIntyre. Sleeper match of the week, of the weekend. Mark my words, this will be one of the biggest matches people are talking about coming out of WrestleMania because of the physicality. all three of these guys are willing to take a massive beating in order to get over with the crowd. I'm not going to put in my official prediction, but this feels like this is the Sheamus moment where he can probably pin Drew McIntyre, win the Intercontinental title, and Drew and Sheamus can continue a story going forward. And it's time to set Gunther up for the big leagues. Like, it's time. Gunther's on that level. So this seems like a smooth transition at WrestleMania, and it feels like one that Sheamus could come out of as a Grand Slam champion. Sleeper match. Excitement level is an A. Expectation level, A+. I expect this to most likely be my favorite match coming out of WrestleMania. So let's transition from that to Omos versus Brock Lesnar. Okay? And unless there is a swerve of Bobby Lashley proportions, this is absolutely maybe my least favorite WrestleMania match that I'm going to witness of all time. That's my expectation, or that's my excitement. F level excitement. It's a bathroom break. Like, I get it. Like, I guess we're supposed to be sold on this idea that Brock's probably going to F5 Omos. All right, cool. Didn't have to happen at WrestleMania. I'm hoping that there's a backup plan. I'm hoping that this is the reformation of the Hurt Business. I'm hoping that Bobby Lashley attacks Omos on his way to the ring. I'm hoping they have a plan B and this has all been a swerve, but I kind of smell this as this is Vince McMahon kind of putting his stamp on WrestleMania 39. Excitement level for Omos and Brock Lesnar, F. Expectation level, D, because maybe they've got something up their sleeve, and I'm not going to completely just shit on this yet, but somebody tell me what there is to be excited for. We had so many other possibilities for someone like Brock Lesnar and Omos. I said this last week. Even let's say Omos wins this match. He's not going to be a world champion in the next 2 years. So what is the real benefit? You're not putting a world title on Omos in the next 2 years. There's absolutely no way. There's way too many other people who are deserving of that title. So what is the benefit here? I guess you create a spectacle that you can parade out at big events and I guess if you look at it maybe from little kids' point of view, Omos is this big scary giant, but for the core 18 to 30 audience, nobody's sold on Omos. All right, let's talk about Edge and Finn Balor Hell in the Cell match. This is long-term storytelling paying off. This is where, all right, we got it right, WWE. Everybody says I'm negative. I talk shit about everything. Nothing bad to say. You can't say, I call it like I see it. And this was what it should be. It's exactly right. They've built this up long-term since the beginning of the Judgment Day. They've kept these guys close enough, but yet far enough away that it feels like a fresh match. They didn't make these guys wrestle each other 400 times. We got a couple matches where they were in the ring together, but it never really felt like a program had started until now. I think that Damian Priest is going to need some kind of involvement, whether it be in this match or just some kind of WrestleMania moment, whether an Andre the Giant Battle Royal would be fine. But I think that this is going to set the tone for the Judgment Day, this match. I would like to see this match open up WrestleMania. I would like to see this be the first match. Cameras turn on, the cage is already down, and we jump right into WrestleMania with Edge and Finn Balor Hell in a Cell, and we set the momentum for the rest of the weekend for the Judgment Day with Finn Balor going over Edge. I like it. My excitement level, B+. B+ if I had to say it. My expectation level, this is going to be an A level match. And it's B+ because I'm just not particularly fond of either one of these wrestlers. I've never been a huge Finn Balor guy. I see the novelty. I see the talent. I see how good he is. I am not sold on everybody else who says that every Finn Balor match is just God tier match. I don't think so. I think I've watched a lot of Finn Balor matches that I've yawned my way through. I think that Edge, amazing wrestler, but like certain guys just get to a certain age where there's not a lot left for them, and I think I lose interest in that. And that's my own like personal fault, but I lose a little bit of interest in like the idea of, what does Edge have left? He's probably not going to win a world title. So it is just a few of these like tying up loose ends and heading towards retirement. But because of that, my excitement just goes from an A to a B, but my expectation is an A. This is going to be high level, could sneak up on my Sheamus, Gunther, and Drew McIntyre prediction, and could end up being the match that everybody comes out of WrestleMania talking about. All right, let's talk about Damage Control versus Lita, Trish, and Becky. Anybody who's watched this show knows I am absolutely over the top ecstatic about this match. No, I mean, this match 100% is for name value. It's so they could get the name Lita, they could get the name Trish Stratus, they could tap into that old Attitude Era audience who goes, oh shit, they're wrestling again? And they come back to pay attention. This match makes absolutely no sense. Sasha Banks was right the whole time about the misuse of the tag team women's titles. The change of guard from Vince McMahon to Triple H did absolutely nothing. The women's tag team titles have been absolutely worthless. They've meant nothing. They've been defended maybe 3 times, maybe. And here we are going into WrestleMania, the biggest event of the year, and the women's tag team titles are hidden in a triple threat tag team match. This match should have been contested under the Freebird rules. And maybe if that rule doesn't apply to this, then make up a new rule. Like this match, the tag team titles, the same way they were in the New Day, should have been held by Becky, Trish, and Lita. And the tag team titles on the other side should have been held by Damage Control as a unit. It would give Bayley more purpose, that if at any time any of the 3 could defend the titles, that would have made that more exciting. But instead, here we are, triple threat, 2 women who are out of the prime of their wrestling career. And that's not because of age. It's because they haven't done it in so long. And this is the match we're supposed to be excited about. Excitement level, D. Expectation level, F. I just don't think Lita and Trish Stratus have enough in the tank to really put on a high level WrestleMania. If this was on Extreme Rules, if this was on Backlash, if this was on mid-card of a just one-off premium live event, I could see getting behind it, being excited for this, but I can't with this. Like, everybody wants to be mad about 40 and 50-year-old male wrestlers coming back and getting their shot, like The Rock, Cena, Stone Cold, but they don't bat an eye when it's Trish Stratus or Lita. It's fucking hypocrites. Let's talk about Seth Rollins and Logan Paul. Look, man, Logan Paul has come in after kind of saying he didn't want to play the bad guy. He's embraced the heel persona. This has been the absolute best organic build with actual logical storytelling of any match heading into WrestleMania that isn't bloodline related. And when I talk about organic, I mean a match that was built in the last 3 months. It didn't have long-term storytelling like Dom and Ray. It didn't have long-term storytelling like Finn and Edge. It just had a regular build leading into WrestleMania. It's been perfect. Excitement level A, expectation level. I'm going to temper my expectations and go B on this, only because how many times can Logan Paul get in there and like exceed expectations? And he's done it every time. So there's a good chance I'm wrong, but I just feel like at some point it's going to be a little bit glaringly clear that he's not a professional wrestler. And I feel like maybe this is the one. I don't know. We can talk about Rey Mysterio and Dominic Mysterio. This is one that 6 months ago I was very down. I've been down on Dominic Mysterio. Everybody knows my record. I was never a huge Dominic Mysterio fan until he decided that he wasn't going to be a tough guy, and he figured out that comedy was the role for him. And I've turned. I am on board of the Dominic Mysterio train. I love the decision to put Rey Mysterio into the Hall of Fame. I love this idea that Dom's kind of getting in that way. I love the idea that Dom has played around with the Eddie Guerrero rumors and conspiracies. I think everything about this has been booked correctly. I think Rey, even to the point of like Rey Mysterio not wanting to have the match, even though this match isn't confirmed yet, I think we know it's going to be confirmed. Perfect. Our excitement level is an A. Expectation level, A. I'm good. I think that match is going to go over. So let's talk about the title contender matches. That's what I'm trying to say. That were announced just last week. Street Profits, Alpha Academy, Viking Raiders versus Strowman and Ricochet. And then we have a women's one that the wrestlers haven't been announced, right? Absolutely lazy fucking booking. That's what this is. This is, oh shit, we have to fill 2 nights of WrestleMania. Oh shit, we got to get more wrestlers onto the card. How many people? We could get 2, 4, 6. Oh, we could get 8 people in the ring at once. Well, if we do 2 of them, we get 16 more people in the ring. This is absolute garbage. There's no story to any of this. This is just thrown together, and then they go, well, these 2 teams will get a future tag team title. But that's cool. That's great. But just Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn get one just for the hell of it. Whatever. Doesn't make sense. Then we go to, so excitement level for those, F. Expectation level, C, because I think my boy Otis could do something. And I'm hoping that in the women's, that's just a setup for Ronda and Shayna to win the number 1 contendership spot. Bobby Lashley, Bray Wyatt. Is it canceled? Is it still on? What's going on? You're just not going to tell us. You're just going to act like we're fucking idiots. You're just not going to tell us. You're just going to go completely radio silent, not mention anything, and just not have this match. I'm getting the vibe that something's happened. There'll be a weird backstage moment with Bray Wyatt, and that's it. That's his involvement at WrestleMania. And I think that we can officially kind of put the stamp of notorious approval on the fact that I was right, and that it wasn't. Maybe I was a little wrong in the fact that I said by SummerSlam, but I think they don't know what to do with Bray Wyatt. They don't know they didn't know how to book Bobby Lashley and Bray Wyatt, so they panicked. Bray Wyatt possibly got upset. Bray Wyatt possibly injured. We'll never probably know, but what we know is this match is more than likely not happening, unfortunately. Kevin Owens versus Sami Zayn in the Usos. This is my main event of the weekend. This is what I'm calling the main event of my WrestleMania. It's just probably not going to be the last match of the weekend, but this is what I'm here for. This is what I'm invested in. This is where my emotion, and this is the best story in all of professional wrestling for the last 8-9 months. This is it. This is the culmination of so many things coming together. This is Kevin Owens finally being allowed back into a relevant story. This is Sami Zayn, his story coming to a head. This is Jey Uso finally getting to kind of break free from Roman Reigns and have a moment. And this is my biggest event of WrestleMania. I'm not going to spill what I believe yet, but I think there's even deeper meaning to this matchup. Excitement level for KO and Sammy versus the Usos, A. Expectation level, A+++++. This thing is going to probably be emotional. This thing is probably going to be full of just, great wrestling from a casual point of view, from a hardcore point of view. This is going to be kind of the burn off of so much of what we've been invested in for the last year and a half. And then we go Roman Reigns versus Cody Rhodes, the big one. This is the main event. This is what they tell us we're supposed to be excited to see. And to me, it still feels like the sideshow to the main story. It feels like this is an obligation that Roman Reigns has kind of had to step away and take care of. I thought that the last promo by Cody and Roman on Monday Night Raw definitely helped to guide the story back into the right direction, but still I don't expectation or excitement level is a B. I'm excited. It's Cody and Roman. It's not the best they could have done. We could have had a better main event, but I'm B level excited. And my expectation is they put on a good match and they give us an A-level match and that there's some kind of swerve or story element or something that I don't foresee happening, be it Jey Uso getting involved, be it Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn, be it whatever happens. I believe that there's going to be more. This isn't just going to end at WrestleMania. So my expectation level is that we end with an A and we're all at least happy coming out of WrestleMania. So if you average all that out, take everything I talked about, average that all out, my excitement level for the weekend is a D. There's just a lot of bad matches that are pulling that down. I think if you cut the fat, easily one night of WrestleMania, my excitement level could have been an A. And if you average it all out, my expectation level is a B. And so, that seems pretty right on course with how I've kind of been talking about this for the last 3 or 4 weeks. Excitement level D, expectation level is a B. All right, let's get to a listener question. This question comes from the Discord from DJ Wavy D, and they asked, could WWE benefit from using a weight class to create divisions in pro wrestling? And I think what you're referring to is like a lightweight and a heavyweight division. But I think, so answer to the question, yes, I do think they could benefit from weight classes. I think I've actually done this topic early on in this podcast life because it's a thought that I come back to quite often that I think could benefit WWE, especially in this era of like trying to ground wrestling in some sort of realism. I think that weight classes could definitely help out WWE in just creating more opportunity for different wrestlers. But I think I would take it one step farther if I was in charge of doing this and I had the choice. I would do 3 weight classes for men. I would do a lightweight division that was under 200 pounds. This is for your real little guys. This is for your AEW size guys. You have a specific division for these guys, and you have a specific set of titles that are exclusive to these, what I'd call undersized wrestlers. Then I would have a division similar to the UFC, a light heavyweight division at 200 to 250 pounds. And this would consist of the bulk of your wrestlers, your Seth Rollins, your Austin Theory, the main bulk meat of the roster would compete in the light heavyweight division. And then I would have a 250 plus heavyweight division for guys like Roman Reigns, Brock Lesnar, Drew McIntyre, Sheamus, your big kind of Goliath type guys that they're spectacles. They're the old school Vince McMahon, as people tend to say, style of wrestler, and you have those guys fight for a very specific heavyweight title. And so I think by doing that, I think by introducing weight classes, number one, you could give your champions a little bit of a break, because I don't think it would be necessary for every champion to perform at every premium live event. You could, in the way that UFC kind of rotates the main event with a different champion, I think you could do that in WWE, and guys would be working, instead of 12 premium live events a year, your champions would be working, 6 at most premium live events. You could work every third one, and every so often, maybe WrestleMania, every belt is defended, and maybe there's like Night of Champions where every belt is defended. But other than that, you could rotate out, this premium live event is a lightweight championship, or this premium live event is a light heavyweight championship. And the one thing I would say to make sure that it didn't get stagnant is that I would allow people to fight above their weight class. And I think that's an option in most fighting companies anyway, and UFC especially. But I think that you would allow guys like Seth Rollins for a special event to go up and fight someone like Brock Lesnar for a heavyweight title, so that you could continue to feature guys that aren't in that 250 plus range. you could feature them in those big style main events, but there would still be a place for them to comfortably go back to that had like a light heavyweight belt. So you basically, I think you could, with the amount of people WWE and the amount of shows they have, I think they could easily support a heavyweight champion with some form of, I don't think I'd have a mid-card there. I think I would just have the heavyweight champion. You know, guys like Brock Lesnar and Drew McIntyre really don't have business being like an intercontinental champion. They do it, but they don't have a business there. 200 to 250, I would do the light heavyweight championship and the intercontinental championship. So you have those two belts in that division. And then the under 200, I would do a lightweight champion and like the United States champion. And that's how I'd break down those belts. And it's really just, you're really just kind of adding one more belt because you're taking away one of your heavyweight belts, right? You don't need a Universal and a WWE champion. What you need is a heavyweight champion and a light heavyweight champion. You're adding a lightweight championship belt, which they've had before on different occasions. And you're just separating out these things by weight class. And I get that maybe it handicaps the 250 plus guys, but they don't have business, you know, fighting the smaller guys on that regular of a basis anyway. I like the idea of rotating champions at different premium live events. I like the idea that if you have weight classes, you can implement some kind of power ranking system, right? With records that actually matter, which then makes like Monday Night Raw feel special because, you know, let's say a guy goes up and fights above his weight class that could hold more weight within his division or hold more weight within the division above it. It would make every match matter instead of so often it feels like, why are they making this match? What is the purpose, right? Ludwig Kaiser versus Cody Rhodes. Who does that benefit? What is the purpose? But if there were points on the line or records on the line, I do think that it would make for a very interesting dynamic within professional wrestling. And I think AEW toyed around with this idea a little bit by using records, but eventually they just dropped the ball because I guess committing to a logical system over a long-term period can be a little tougher rather than just, you know, panicking and throwing together dream matches, which is what I think both companies typically try to do. And I think that typically falls flat. I think that especially in an era where WWE doesn't use a lot of authority figures, I think that it would be fun to have Adam Pearce play sort of a Dana White-ish type character where post premium live events, he could sit down and have a press conference where he talks about who he thinks is next in line for that title. Now, I know there'd be a lot of fleshing out. I know that it would handicap a little bit of the stories that aren't surrounding titles, but with 5 titles for the men, and I guess for the women, you could do, you know, 2 or 3 different titles, but I'm more talking in the men's division. I think that it would just create buzz around every show. It just, I guess the problem for WWE is that it involves a ton of commitment. The follow-up question to that was, could the women's division have 2 different belts, one for the pure women's wrestlers and one for the more diva model type of wrestler? I get the logic. I 100% understand the logic, and probably in the 90s, you'd have no problem selling people on that. I think, unfortunately, in 2023, there's just too many hurdles to make that make sense, even though it is a little bit logical. I think that someone would label it offensive. Somebody somewhere would label it offensive and say splitting people up based on like wrestlers versus models would be, you know, sexist. I don't know that I necessarily agree with that. I also don't know that I agree that that's necessary to kind of flesh out the women's division. I think what would be more important is that WWE needs to really lay into more character development with the women's wrestlers. I get, like, it's hard to believe that Carmella in a WWE ring could ever beat Ronda Rousey or Shayna Baszler. That's a problem. And that's where the logic of splitting them into 2 divisions makes sense. But also, you can just create equalizing situations, backstories, right? Managers, valets to the ring. You can create different situations of like, maybe Carmella's just a extremely clever character who tends to outsmart her opponent, or she's very lucky and lucky things happen, or she has a partner or a manager who is able to help her do things that we don't believe to be just regularly possible for somebody like that. But it's the lack of backstory for me that is the biggest problem in WWE versus like needing divisions or needing to split the women into two divisions. Backstories create advantage. Like they create situations for wrestlers who may not, you don't believe everybody can beat Brock Lesnar, but if there's some kind of backstory that leads us to believe why it's possible, then sometimes we can get behind that. So, I guess with the women, you could create weight classes. I know weight classes are touchy with some women's sports, even though they use them in UFC and there's no problem. I think real athletes don't have an issue with weight classes, but I think that you could use weight classes and just have anybody who is that like quote unquote pure wrestler fight in that upper division, and then some of the ones that are smaller or less fight oriented, you could have them fight in that kind of underclass. That would make sense. Let's talk about the notable news this week. I got three things that kind of caught my attention that I wanted to talk about from the news. And number one is something that we've talked about a couple times on this podcast, but it seems to keep finding its way to the news. And that is Rhea Ripley, speaking to her fans, treat us like we're normal humans and not like we're products. And this comes from SE Scoops. And Rhea went on to say that she's been approached in the airport numerous times by fans who harass for autographs, and if they don't get what they want, they become aggressive or angry. And I have I kind of have two takes on this that then I'll come together and give my kind of final take. First off, I'm going to step up and say, as far as Rhea Ripley, I don't like the quote. I get the sentiment. I don't like the quote. I don't like this idea. We are humans. We are not products. Rhea Ripley is a product. It is a product that is sold on television week in and week out. I think the bigger issue is that when you're at the airport traveling between shows, it's the clarity of you're not Rhea Ripley. I don't know Rhea Ripley's government name, but you are your government name. You're not the actor in the show. You are who you are. So I don't like this idea that you're not a product. You are a product, but you're not a product all the time. If you're trying to sell me t-shirts and you're trying to sell my kids toys, you are a product. And I know that sounds bad, but like when I produce this show, I am a product. The character and the person that I portray when I turn the camera on and I talk and I say things, I am creating a product. Whether I like it or not, it is a product. I'm selling myself to people who listen to the show in the same way that Rhea Ripley is a product. Now, let's discuss how you just because something is a product or someone is a product, there's still etiquette. There's still a way that you should treat people. And this comes down to, I think, just common courtesy and just the idiocracy of fucking people and what they think they are and aren't allowed to do, right? When Rhea Ripley is walking through the airport, you should leave her alone. If you're a grown adult, if you're over the age of 13, and that's just an arbitrary number, right? But if you are an adult, leave them alone. Don't bug them. Give them a nod. Give them a wave, smile, any of that is fine. But if they look like they're trying to go from point A to point B and you walk up and you harass them with, multiple items that you want autographed, you're a piece of shit. You are. That's reality, right? It's like the video of the guy who approached Rey Mysterio in the airport trying to get him to sign multiple items, and you see Rey Mysterio become visibly upset. That's a people problem. That's not a Rey Mysterio problem, right? Now, from my believe that kids should be fine to approach. I don't think that wrestlers and people in talent should have a problem. I think that if you're at an event that involves wrestling, you shouldn't have a problem. But I think that kids are the differential. The kids are the differential, right? If I'm with my kid and they want to approach. I might give my kid the opportunity. But I don't think that's what Rhea Ripley's talking about. When she's talking about this, I think it is the pushy fan, the pushy adult fan who brings multiple items. And so this just feels to me like this is the problem with people. This is a people problem. This is asshole people who think they're entitled to talk to somebody because, oh, I know who that person is. No, like respect people's boundaries, have common courtesy. Don't approach. Hey, just a what's up? How you doing? Don't pull your phone out. Don't run up. You know, like maybe if you happen to happenstance to be sitting next to him, you can go, do you mind signing this for me? But like any asshole, especially the ones that are there for business, that are trying to sell things, that's ridiculous. So I side with Rhea Ripley. I get, and who am I to play the semantics of what she said? But I don't like this idea. Like, you are a product. That's the reality, right? Roman Reigns is a product. The bloodline are a product, but that doesn't mean you're entitled to treat them a certain way. It was revealed that Alexa Bliss had a skin cancer scare amid her WWE absence. Okay, so this explains where Alexa Bliss went. I've been a little critical of this in the last couple weeks, not understanding why she just came back and then disappeared again. This feels like a solid reason to go MIA, right? So thoughts and prayers go out to Alexa Bliss. Hopefully it looks like, based on the post she made, that she will be able to recover and come back from whatever it was. But like, this definitely makes some things make a little more sense. Doesn't fix me on the Bray Wyatt stuff, but you know, who knows? Maybe the plan involves Alexa going forward and they're putting it all on hold. I don't know what it is, but this definitely like puts into perspective that like when someone disappears, it's good to maybe take a second to really try and figure out what's going on. Last but not least, there's a report that WWE has a year of long-term storylines planned post WrestleMania 39. These type of reports make me laugh because this is the same story that they tried to sell to us going into WrestleMania, that they had 6 months planned. They knew exactly what they were doing. These are the stories they wanted to tell. You know, if you listen to WWE, they didn't want The Rock. They didn't need The Rock. The Cody and Roman was the plan all along, right? Yeah, you know, okay. You can say whatever you want. Now, whether you stick to that or not, that is the problem, right? Triple H says you got a 6 month plan going into WrestleMania. There's no way you're fooling me into believing this is the WrestleMania 39 that Triple H wanted, right? But all kidding aside, if this thought process, booking out a year in advance, if this leads to some more coherent storytelling, then it's ultimately a good thing. I'm okay with it. I got no problem. If this is really, if this is a real thing, cool. More power to you, Triple H. More power to you, WWE. You got year-long storylines. Hopefully they include Montez Ford winning the United States title in the near future. Hopefully they include LA Knight winning an Intercontinental Championship in the near future. And hopefully they include Gunther winning a world championship within the next year. If you got all that in there, I'm good. Book it out for a year if that's what it takes. Let's end the show with a new segment I'd like to call the IWC Bitch Slap. And this is going to be a segment where I tend to say things. And I say things and I'm I'm loud and I scream them and I'm overreactive. And what happens is those then get cut up, put on TikTok, and the IWC reacts to what I say. And they all overreact and tell me how wrong I am and how stupid I am and how I shouldn't have takes. And the problem is they're able to say all that. And then 6 months later, when what I say actually comes to be true, they're long gone and act like there's no accountability for them coming after me when what I said just, it just needed time to bake. So this new segment is going to be me coming on the microphone, coming back and kind of, just letting the IWC know that what I said, I stand by it and it probably came true. So let's start with this one. First one, we're going episode 1 of the IWC Bitch Slap here. I saw a quote this week from Pat McAfee saying that his wrestling career is far from over, but for the time being, he won't be doing any announcing or wrestling for the WWE. Now, this comes after reports that because of uncertainty in the sell of the WWE, that he was going to take a wait-and-see approach. So I got to go on record. I said this when Pat McAfee left to go do College Game Day, that for the foreseeable future, he was done with WWE. And what I meant by the foreseeable future was he wasn't leaving for College Game Day and coming back. That was just my gut feeling. I didn't have any information. That's the way I felt. I looked at the situation. I put myself in his shoes and I said, this feels like a natural separation point for Pat McAfee because he was engulfed in it. It would have been hard any other way for him to get out of the wrestling world. Now, will Pat McAfee show back up in WWE? Yes. Will he show back up for special events? Yes. Will he ever go on a long-term announcing position the way he was before? I don't think so. You have to be realistic, right? The IWC is so unrealistic when they said Pat McAfee was leaving for College Game Day and he'll be back after the Royal Rumble. And I ate the shit. They told me, like they kept telling me he would be back. I'm wrong. Just wait. He'll be a surprise entrance in the Royal Rumble, which he was, right? He was a surprise announcer in the Royal Rumble, but he didn't come back. That's not coming back. That was almost, symbolic of him saying, thank you guys for the opportunity. I will do this one more time, but I have other obligations. And I ate the shit. I ate the shit from people on TikTok, from people on YouTube who told me I was wrong, that Pat McAfee was coming back, that this was a break. And I just need to take the moment. I need to take the moment to bitch slap those members of the IWC and accept my flowers for another correct prediction that I had, right? Look, it's not, at this point, look at it. Pat McAfee is having a baby. He runs a successful YouTube business that he has openly admitted right now that he is searching to restructure, possibly with FanDuel or another big company, because of how much time it takes up in his life. He was flying on private jets using his own money to SmackDown every Friday. He was having to leave his podcast, his show, whatever you want to call it, and fly to whatever city SmackDown was in to do SmackDown. And because he loved wrestling and he loved the opportunity, he loved the sport, he was doing it. But that is an exhausting ordeal to be in. One man can only do so much. And the problem is some people are just good at a lot of things. And Pat McAfee is just good at a lot of things, but he is more important to certain arenas like football than he is to wrestling. And why wrestling fans will always, I think, embrace Pat and he will always be welcome to come back. He is a football guy. He is much more important to College Game Day. He is much more important to doing his correspondence with the NFL and things like that. So I guess if you could clone Pat McAfee, yeah, sure. I'm sure he would do WWE, but with a kid on the way, there's just no way to fit pro wrestling into his schedule. That's a full-time job for most people. And he was doing it like it was a hobby, and not treating it like it was a hobby, but just giving it the amount of time that you would with a hobby. And he was still better than most people. So I just wanted to take the second to bitch slap the IWC, a verbal bitch slap to the IWC to let them know it's just another thing that they can go suck on because I was right. And with that is all I have for this week's show. Make sure to tell a friend to listen, like, and subscribe to the Casual Community channel. Make sure to check out all of the other content on the channel. There's a lot of other stuff we're going to be posting soon. Couple different shows in the works, starting to organize the Fantasy Wrestling League so that post Wrestlemania we can be up and running. We'll be running full stride, and we'll have season 2, and we'll commit to it, and it's going to have its own show, and that'll be a lot of fun. If you haven't already, make sure to join the Discord. The link is in the bio. If you're watching on YouTube, link is in the bio of the video. If you're listening on Spotify or any podcast network, there will be a link that you can copy and paste in the description of the audio file. But make sure, there's a lot of cool people in the Discord having a lot of cool conversations, and we'll continue to grow that. And I've got some ideas to, to grow it even more and have some fun things we do every day. Whatever, we'll get there. But as always, I am the Notorious Nerdy D, and we can ring the final bell.